Hello again. Today we're going to look at populating a room with equipment. Relatively straightforward step, but there's a few things you just need to be aware of. If you do these things every single time, they'll become second nature and you won't actually have to think about them, but you have to get into that habit first. So we're going to start off with discussing the three sort of groups of items that we're going to put in. Fixed items on the floor, i.e. plinths, bubble tubes, things like that. Things that are mounted onto the wall at a lower level, like infinity tunnels, musical touch walls, things like that. And finally, things that are mounted higher up, like light spreaders, aurora projectors, and so on. The one other group there is that sort of doesn't fit any of those is freestanding stuff. So things like the iPads or color selectors and so on. And there's just a couple of things to mention regarding that. So we'll get on and we're going to drop in a complete item, which is called BT Curved Plinth Medium. Make sure we're in our Iris group in the resource browser and we have all our equipment here. All you do is grab the item that you want, drag it to where you want it and drop it. So we're actually going to say that we want to put this bubble tube in this bottom left hand corner here. So it's not orientated correctly, and there's a couple of ways to rotate something in Vectorworks. The easiest way is in steps of 90 degrees, so you know you're exactly in line. So if I right click on the object, we get a sub menu, and one of the options in that sub menu is rotate. So we want to rotate this left by 90 degrees, and now we're correctly orientated. Like before, if you want to snap two objects together, so we want to snap this corner with the inside of this corner, we grab it by the tip of the corner. You can see when I hover my mouse pointer over it, it says point. I let go and that's snapped on perfectly. We're happy with our X axis, which is this way, and our Y axis, which is this way. We need to check our Z axis, which is height, and we would just go to our current view menu and change it to front, and we would check that we're orientated correctly within the room, which we are. Okay, so we'll just do that again with another item that would go on the floor. So say for example a normal curved plinth by itself, so we'll just drop that in. It's just similar to this, but it's just by itself. And we're going to say we want it in this top left hand corner. You can see we're not orientated correctly again, so we'll right click on it, rotate right, right click, rotate right, the correct orientation. And again, we want to line these corners up, so we click and hold in the corner, drag it across where it says point, drop it, and we're snapped on perfectly. One thing to bear in mind is we haven't drawn any skirting boards or anything in here, so you need to bear that in mind if you're snapping, that you would snap it to the corner of the skirting boards. Okay, the next type of item we're going to put in is wall mounted. So we'll pick our soundboard, and again we just click it and drag it in. We want to mount this obviously accurately, so we're going to say that we want 450 millimeters between this plinth. You can see object, across and up. Change that to 450 millimeters. Grab our sound wall, again by the corner. That's snapped in, so we're exactly 450 millimeter gap between the two. We don't need this measurement anymore, we delete it. So we're happy with its positioning in the X axis and the Y axis. Now we need to check it on the Z axis. So again, we'll go to front, and this will be down to your design process, but for me that is way too high. So we're going to say that we're going to want that 500 millimeters off the floor. You just click on the floor, click across, change that to 500. Okay, and we're going to grab the corner here, drag this down. Now, when I'm dragging this down, I'm keeping it in the vertical, and it's saying, you know, that we're staying vertical. If I move that, it's going to move our other positioning, so keep that so it's sent vertical. Again, it'll snap, which it's just done, and let go. That requires a little bit of work. If you want to, you can do both those orientations here. So, you know, you can do 450 there, and you can do your 500 there, just to double check that you're in line, which we are. Okay, so we don't need those anymore. Delete those two. Okay, and the third group that we're going to do is items that are mounted high up the wall. So that would be projectors, light spreaders, ripple projectors, and so on. So we're just going to grab an Aurora projector for this one. Let's go to our A's. Oops, I passed it. Okay, we have our Aurora projectors. Number 1 is for mounting on desks and things like that. Number 2 is the wall mounted version. Okay, so we're just going to click and drag that in. Okay, it's just dropped outside the room, so we just drag it in. We're going to want to say we want it in this corner, but we want it pointing at this wall. Now we've done a simple rotation by right clicking. There's a more precise way to do this for specific items like this, and we use a particular tool. And the tool we use is in the top left in our basic tools, and it's the rotation tool. You click on the rotate tool. There's a process in the way we use this. So first of all, we click once, and the first click is the axis of rotation. So I've clicked right in the center of the Aurora projector. We can then draw a line out, and that is going to be our reference line, i.e. where this is pointing now and where we click are the same point. So we click once, and you can see we now have control over rotation of this. So we're going to say we want to project right in the middle of this wall. So I click there, and you can see our Aurora projector has rotated the correct amount. To say the same process every time. Click our rotate tool, click the center of the axis of rotation, our reference line, so in this case through the lens, and rotate the way we want. Just going to click undo because that's the direction that we want it. So our X and Y axis is fine, and our rotation is fine, so we need to check the height. So we go to our front view. You can see it's actually a little low there. So we can either use our mouse keys, our keyboard keys, just press up arrow, or we can grab it with our 2D selection tool and drag it up the way to the height that we want. Go back to our plan view, and that's the way we want it. Okay, the final group is freestanding items. So we're going to use an iPad in this case, and we're going to put it on this plinth. So just search through for our iPad. There it is there. Drag it in and drop it. We're going to want to place it on this plinth. Now it's important to keep this highlighted, and it just helps you with your orientation. So it's highlighted at the minute, and we're happy with its x-axis, we're happy with its y-axis, we need to check its z-axis. So we go to front view, and you can see we instantly have a problem. It's in the floor, and we want it on the plinth. So all we do is grab it, pull it up, it'll snap, and it's now sitting on the plinth. Go back to top view, just to double check that we haven't changed its XY positioning. That's fine. And what you may want to do, just to make it more realistic, is give it a wee spin so it's just sitting at a random angle, like it's just been set down by someone. And then it's a good idea as you go along to just pop into isometric view every so often and check that the room's coming together as you want it to. Okay, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.